Hey, welcome back to The Monitor. I'm Peter Rubin, Senior Editor at Wired, and I want to start off this week with a question. And that question is, guess who's back? And the answer to guess who's back is Lara Croft, because a new Tomb Raider game is out this week. It's actually a prequel. It's been a long time since we had a Tomb Raider game, not counting downloadables, but I've been waiting for this one for a while, and thankfully it pays off. It's beautiful. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics did a great job with it. It is kind of her before she became the archaeologist / explorer that we all know and love, and she is just an archaeology student forced by a plane crash to navigate a mysterious and dangerous island. Really good combat, better than in previous games. Not as many huge, deep, sprawling puzzles, which I always loved, but there are a lot of little ones, and so it still has that feel. So if you like third-person adventure games with a heavy dose of puzzling, you're gonna love Tomb Raider. In fact, you already do love Tomb Raider, but you're gonna love this one too. It's out this week. Check it out. Let's talk about comics. For years now, comics writer Brian Michael Bendis has teased that he's working on this big crossover thing for Marvel. Starting a few months back, people finally pieced it together that this was going to be Age of Ultron. Ultron being this supervillain who was created back in the 60s by one of the Avengers, Hank Pym, and then banished to the far reaches of space. Now, this week, Age of Ultron is starting as a 10-issue standalone miniseries, coming out weekly. Ultron is back, he has taken over the planet, and various Marvel heroes have to band together and figure out how to repel him, brush him out the door, like the Sandman on Live at the Apollo. At any rate, it starts very in media res, so if you are deep into Marvel Comics, you're going to get a lot of the relationships between these characters. If you are not, you're going to recognize people. You might not know why they're all here, but this will all come out in subsequent weeks. First 5 issues are drawn by Brian Hitch. It's a good start. It's going to be weekly, so jump in now. Age of Ultron, #1 this week. Let's talk about music. So out this week, we've got a new album from a hot young guitarist by the name of Jimi Hendrix. There is a new studio album, all unreleased studio material from Jimi Hendrix, who would have been 70 this year. The album is called People, Hell, and Angels, and the bulk of it is material that he was working on by himself after the Jimi Hendrix Experience broke up. So there's a lot of stuff with the drummer Buddy Miles. There's a lot more kind of blues and soul work than you might think of from his Experience years. He covers an Elmore James song that's fantastic. He had played it live, and then in the weeks after that live performance, he started working on it in the studio. It's that kind of an album. It's all directions that he was thinking about going for the double album that he was making after the Experience broke up. It's really nice, and it doesn't feel like one of those posthumous albums. It doesn't feel like a cash grab. It doesn't feel like Tupac's 80th album of outtakes that got pieced together over a synth beat. It's Jimi Hendrix tracks. It's different lineups, it sounds great, it's really warm. People, Hell, and Angels out this week from the one and only Jimi Hendrix. That is it for The Monitor this week. We will actually not be back next week. I'm going to be at South by Southwest in Austin all week, listening and watching things to report to you about. But until I see you again, inspirational catchphrase here.